What's up, ladies and gentlemen, YouTube, everybody out there, it's Philip20, and I'm back with the key site. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a UPS power supply, it's a battery, backup, surge protector, etc., and it's got a real cheap inverter, I believe. I'm absolutely sure it's got a cheap inverter because let's go ahead and we're going to unplug it. Now this is APC backup UPS ES750 surge protection, and what we have here is my standard electric meter, and we're going to test between ground and power. If it's a good inverter, there should be 115 volts between ground and power, which here's your ground and here's your power. I'm going to switch on to VAC. We should have 120 volts ish here, and it's 56 on one circuit and 58 on the other circuit. So that means between the two you've got 115.1. So what I took the liberty of doing is cutting one of my appliances. I had to wire it back up later. It was my table saw. I just borrowed the cord that I already put on there once. I cut all the wires to where they're not directly attached, and now we have live wires. This is a UPS, and here's the ground circuit. It's not attached to ground right now, so it can't follow back through to our key site scope through its ground. So I'm going to grab a hold of this. We're going to check one side of the wave and the other side of the wave. I'm going to hold these so it doesn't fall, etc. I'll switch this to 100 to 1, and I'll do auto scale. And look at that, it's a modified square-ish wave, and it's awful looking. It is so bad looking. The wave itself is just terrible. But I don't think that's the worst one we have here. I actually think this is a better one than this one that's in the server rack. The one that's in the server rack buzzes, and it makes everything else buzz. So we're going to test that one as well. But we also have another UPS, two of them. They're identical. We'll test one of them for the sine wave. The batteries went bad on these, and I got them for free. So thanks for the person that got them for me for free. Too bad he don't watch the videos. So we've got this right here, and you can see the sine wave is garbage. I'm going to plug it back in to our standard circuit, and that, my friends, is the sine wave from the Sine inverter. So that's a different UPS power supply. I'm going to have my wife give me a hand and go flip the solar power off, and we're going to check the grid power sine wave. Now, that right there is a super clean sine wave. You can see how it goes up, and then it falls back down, and goes up, and falls back down. The Sine is similar to that, I suppose, but not exactly the same as the grid power. The grid power is a bit better than the Sine, but this one for sure is the worst out of the three. Let's test another one. So for this test, we have this power inverter. I'm going to press the power button, turn it on. Alright, so the green light, and it shows the sine wave, there's a green light. And I hear it buzzing. I'm assuming it's charging the batteries because the battery light is flashing yellow. And we're going to check our voltages with the electric meter first. And remember how we had the same voltage between ground and power. It should, if it's a good inverter, we shouldn't have anything between ground and neutral, but we should have, so if it's a good inverter, we should have pretty much 0 volts between ground and neutral. And that's what it appears to be, 0 volts between ground and neutral. $124 between neutral and power. 123 between neutral and power. So that's the grid power, that's normal. But when we unplug the wire going to the supply, I bet you it'll go back to being a crappy inverter like the other one. It's unplugged. I can hear buzzing. Let's check neutral to ground. Nothing. That's an excellent sign that the inverter isn't shorted between neutral and ground. So we'll check here. $122 volts. Excellent. Now we can go ahead and check the sine wave easily. There's one side and the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a pure sine wave inverter. Right here, this is a really nice power supply. It is a model ONE254. But it's not something that you're going to find a lot. For instance, this power supply directly is a very expensive one. Let's see if all the terminals look exactly the same. So yeah, it looks good. So basically I found these, they got bad batteries. You'll find these probably on eBay pretty cheap. I bet you'll be able to find them pretty cheap. If you want to put your electronics on this thing is going to be super efficient, 12 volt battery setup. It's a pure sine wave. It's safe to plug your electronics into. It's not going to hurt it. It's not buzzing. It's not making any funny sounds. And you can see the sine wave. It's nearly a pure sine wave. It's not perfect, but it's almost pure. So if we zoom in and widen it, you can see we got a dip here. I mean, there's obvious that it's not a perfect sine wave, but I would consider this a pure sine wave over the last one, the modified sine wave, which is pretty much crap, garbage, useless. This thing is going to be super efficient, and it's going to charge the batteries really well. You know, charge your laptops, charge your cell phones, charge, like I had a modified sine wave inverter kill my it killed what I had before. This is going to replace my UPS for my modem, router, and stereo. You know, it doesn't use a lot of power. This thing is going to work great for it. So I'm going to take this, use this for a modem and router, and that's going to be cool because this thing's probably more efficient to even, you know, keep on because it's a better system. It's obviously a bigger system. It's better. I do have this old battery. What I will have to do is strap it to the top and then run the wires through, and I'll have nice crimped connections that won't short circuit. I mean, I got it kind of janky together right now, which isn't that good, but hey, let's plug it up and see if it charges the batteries. So what we can go ahead and do is check the voltage directly to the batteries right here. Voltage DC. We're going to check the batteries here. We're at 12.15. The battery is nearly dead. Let's plug it up. It clicked, and then I'm sure it would switch back to the pure sine wave from the Sine inverter. And now let's go back here. 12.467, 12.48, 12.49. This battery started at 12.3. The battery's kind of low when I got a hold of it. So yes, this battery is a little low. It's going to be charged up. I've got two of these. Inverters, or UPS backups. So that means I got two pure sine wave 12-volt inverters, and I'm going to take advantage of that. I'm going to build a 12-volt solar battery bank, and we're going to use the wind turbine on that, and we're going to play with that a little bit, see if we can measure how much power we're actually absorbing, because I can measure how much power I pull out, but I can't measure how much power I put in. So I could turn off the charging system for these in here, and then use it as a solar off-grid. I can hook it up to 12 of these batteries at the bottom. I know I've got 12 to make a 12-volt battery bank, so that'd be cool. And I can just put these inverter inside when those batteries are outside, and have a 12-volt battery bank to run the other stuff, which is pure sine wave. It's not going to hurt to run it. I just going to be annoyed with the beeping, so I'll have to go in there, unwire the beeper for it. But that's pretty cool. We'll move on to the next one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we now have this Cyber Power rack inverter. Now, you think rack anything is great. Well, I have to disagree, because this inverter buzzes whenever you put a load on it. It sounds like it's gonna die. It doesn't last a long time, but I was told it has lithium batteries inside. Now, if it's not that good of an inverter, I mean, there's no reason to really keep this thing as my rack inverter, because that thing is like thousands of watts, 1,000 watts to run everything on the rack. And I don't think this is that good of an inverter, but let's check it out. So I'm going to turn the power on, and we're going to check from ground to neutral. So we're checking from ground circuit to neutral. Okay. Now I have 0.4 volts, and that's with it not inverting. It's at 100% capacity. It's got 100 minutes, 0% consumed. So what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the inverter and test between ground and power. That's a different one. Sorry. So we're going to disconnect it. Now this one is running off of its battery pack. It's beeping. So we got ground, 51 volts. That's a bad sign that it's a crappy inverter. Let's go ahead and check the voltage right off of it. .114 volts. This one says 120 volts, so it's like 10% off or whatever. So obviously this voltage meter is terrible, and not to mention whatever else is inside of here. So let's look at it on the sine wave. I'm gonna turn it off. We'll move our inverter out, our thing out of the way, and then we're going to check this circuit and that circuit. So you got that one and that one, and the neutral's disconnected. We're going to go ahead and power it up. Okay, so right now you see our sine wave. So I guess it's testing itself or something. So we're going to zoom into our sine wave a little bit. So that's our zoom that we're going to hold at. This is 120 volts offset from center to top and bottom. So right now we're going to go ahead and disconnect the power to the rack UPS. And that has got to be the worst sine wave that I've found in the house yet. Let's take a closer look. Let's widen it. And you see it's got sharp pickups and then just, signal drop-offs. This is a square wave that is terrible. The worst square wave you can have. Just goes down, up, down, down again. So up, down, down. I mean, that is a square wave. That's not even a modified sine wave. It's a square wave, and it is the worst, that you could get. It's 400 watts, output. So this thing is supposed to be able to do 400 watts, but it has a 700 VA, which doesn't seem to make sense. It should be able to handle a lot more than that. Now I'm assuming that it works better with the load on it, but even with any electronics that you're going to run into, putting a square wave on it kills it. Don't do it. You're a moron if you do it. And this is why you get voltage peaks, and then they hold that voltage for that period of time, and then it stops and drops off, and it just kills it. So this is a square wave sine, and it's terrible. Don't get a square wave inverter. Don't get a modified sine inverter. Get a pure sine inverter like this one or a Magnum. Like I said, you can get one of these really cheap to put your expensive stuff on. This isn't going to hurt like a refrigerator if you could run it, but it's too small to run a fridge. You're going to need like 2,000 watt surge to do that, and these have zero surge. So that's it for today's video. I'm showing you the UPS power supplies that I've got, and I hope you guys like, subscribe, share, comment, and thanks for watching. Peace out.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video. There's lots more content coming. Click the subscribe button below. Make sure you come back for more because there's great content always coming up every day in this channel. See you next time. Peace.